All right, guys, I'm back. And what we're going to be doing today is the oil catch can system for the AM6 Aston Martin Vantage. So recently, as you guys can see, I've done my full build on my car. Car's awesome. Stupid fast. One thing I noticed even before I did my build is that there was a little bit of oil in the intakes. Now, these cars are prone, like really bad, for having that blow by and having issues with the factory PCV system. I even have a buddy with an Aston Martin that has a completely stock car. You know, we noticed that there was oil in his intake as well. Not a lot, just a little bit to cause concern. So these cars 100% need a catch can system. Now, the problem is that there's really nobody that makes them. There's only one company around that makes the catch can systems for these, and that is this company right here, 63 Motorsports. So the kit is, in my opinion, a little overpriced. It's very expensive, and what we're going to be doing today is installing it. Now, I get it. You know, it's a really nice car. Obviously, it's an expensive car. You want to have a really nice product go on the car, so you pay for what you get. I get it, you know. But what I would say, though, is if, you know, there's an expensive kit, at the very least, you shouldn't have to essentially make your own AM fitting lines. You know, this kit, unfortunately, you will have to, you know, lay out your lines. You will have to make sure that the lines length are correct, and you will have to assemble your AM fitting lines. I think that a kit that costs $1,600 for a catch can system should already have these lines pre-made. Nevertheless, is what it is. So we're going to be installing this today. I mean, it does look relatively nice. The can system looks a little nice. Obviously, the bracketry is cool. So, all right, let's move on to the first step. All right, guys, so the first step is essentially mocking up the catch can and the locations that you want the catch cans to go. So, they kind of make this area, like right here where you see these two bolts. That's essentially where this first catch can is gonna sit. It's gonna sit kind of like that, which ample amount of room for this, you know, to kind of sit like that. The fittings will go this way, and it's basically gonna go to the PCV system. This block off plate right here, that's right below the coil pack, that's gonna get removed, and it's gonna be replaced. And in just a few minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly where that goes. But nevertheless, the first step is essentially mounting the catch cans. And over here is relatively easy. It's gonna go right there. The other side's a little bit more different. There's a lot of shit over here. Gang of stuff over here. And granted, my car is highly modified, so I don't have a lot of shit that the stuff that you guys got. You guys got like the little mesh grill right there, and you know, some other shit that's in the way, like fuel lines and all that stuff. I don't have that anymore. So the only real area to put this catch can is going to be right here in this vicinity, you know. So it's going to have to sit right here. I'm gonna have to finesse that a little bit, but it's gonna have to kind of sit right here, you know, something like that. Obviously the bracket's gonna get spun around on that side, but it's gonna sit right there. When I'm not holding the camera, I'm gonna be able to really show you guys better on how that's gonna sit. But something along those lines. All right, that's the first step, is essentially positioning them, knowing where they're gonna go. Okay, guys, after kind of really investigating this, the parts they supply to you aren't essentially enough for this, meaning, like, you know, the bracket system right here. So This one unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, needs to go in this vicinity, this location here. But the issue is that I got an image up here right now. It shows that these two bolts of another mechanic shop essentially kind of made that work, which are like these two bolts in these vicinities. However, the kit does not come with that. So in order to put, you know, the bracket on those two areas, those two little bolt areas, you'll need to have those two bolts in order to do that. This kit does not come with that. So I'm gonna have to go to Ace Hardware, pick up some bolts that'll actually fit here and go through that, and keep it moving, man. That's actually a little disappointing. The other side also, I'm not gonna be able to use this bracket system simply because, again, where I'm gonna mount this, or I'm gonna have to mount it, is essentially in this area like I just showed before. However, as you can see, there is no area to mount this bracket on this, right? So even if I go and, you know, use this little plastic area to counter mount it on, this is essentially flat. You know, how's that gonna work? So again, it's like a round, you know, and this is a straight bracket. So the bracket really needs to be curved for this, because obviously the Aston Martin just has no real area to mount this to, you know. So I kind of feel like they maybe could have did a better job with supplying you proper proprietary parts for the AM6 Aston Martin, since the kit is for this car. I mean, obviously it is because of these. Honestly, guys, just my overall assessment, to be honest with you, you know, and these guys are, you know, okay. You know, I've talked to these guys a few times over the phone, but these are really the bread and butter of this whole entire kit, because no other catch can has these two adapters that essentially go over the PCV system. Makes this kit essentially proprietary and have a significant amount of value, is because literally, you can buy a bunch of different universal catch cans, but the issue is this PCV system is set up a certain way that it needs a proprietary catch can system. So you can't just put any regular catch can on this car. It has to be set up a certain way, which is, you know, kind of what these guys did. The issue is, again, it's not really, you know, dialed in for the Aston Martin yet. Like these bracket systems, they don't supply you with the bolts, you know, properly sit in the engine bay. You know, the lines aren't really already pre-cut. I'm kind of complaining a little bit, but, you know, you spend $1,600 for a catch can system, it should be pretty already dialed in. But all right, so I'm gonna have to run to the parts store. I'm gonna have to grab like some bolts and spacers, kind of like the image above, and figure it out. All right, guys, so just for a quick update, what I'm having to do here is actually build up some washers in between here and this bracket here, because for whatever reason they don't supply you the you know, spacers or brackets to properly sit in here. So what has to happen is I don't know if you see that, but the bracket literally has to sit like that, and there's two bolts that go into that. Mind you, they give you one bolt, they don't even give you two. But I do have plenty of bolts, so that's not a big deal. But the issue is actually the biggest problem here is the spacer. So what I'm having to do here is I'm having to create some spacers so that this could actually sit properly flush on the body of the car. So again, parts store, having to go there and get some washers to build up that side. I do think I have a solution for the other side. Again, there's no bracket bolts set up for that other side, so I'm gonna have to essentially makeshift something. But I do have an idea on how I'm gonna do that. Let's go. All right, guys, continuing on. So what I'm actually gonna do just to make my life a little bit easier, before I actually bolt these to the chassis of the car, I'm actually gonna put the drain suction tubes on the apparatus, so it makes life a little bit easier, because this side I probably can get away with just putting it on and then putting the tube on, you know, after the fact, but the other side isn't going to be as cooperative. So I may go ahead and put this on now. Now my issue is that they give you this one tube, and nowhere in the instructions, and I have read it, and I actually even reached out to the guys about it, does it say that this needs to be cut? Because there's two dual catch cans, but there's one drain tube, right? They don't convey that anywhere in the instructions. I'm just putting, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. So let's keep it going. All right, guys, next step is these adapter plates right here. So there's approximately 4 E10 bolts that take this plate off. Now this thing slides off this little this sleeve, and it just comes right up. So again, why this catch can is kind of proprietary is because of this plate right here. The way these M177 motors is set up on the Aston Martin, you need this plate in order to really have an effective system. And so far, this kit is the only one that really supplies that. So as you see, you know, that's definitely important. All right, guys, quick update. So I've taken off this plate and I'm about to mount the new plate on. Now, don't mind all the gold shiny stuff. I just wanted to add a little bit of flair, since my car does actually produce a lot more heat than normal. So obviously I wanted to be protected. So this flange goes on here. I'm about to mount that up. I'm about to start running the lines from here to the catch can. I have it mocked up right now. I haven't like nailed it down completely, but as you can see, I have 245s on that thing right now. That's how the lines are going to be ran. It's a relatively short run, literally maybe like, I don't know, a foot, maybe 14 inches from the top of here to there, and then the bottom to that. That's basically how the routing goes. I did verify that with the 63 guys. You know, this goes to the bottom of the catch can. PCV system goes to the top of the catch can. So that's that. So the kit is fully installed. Here's basically the kit. I did a gold wrap just to kind of protect the heat on the plate. It's just a sticker, but again, it kind of keeps the heat down because I have a lot of heat on my engine bay with the big turbos. But that's basically what it looks like right now. I saw the YouTube video and I saw that they had the brackets, and I got a little nervous because I don't have those. But it's all the way up to the seal. It can't go any further. Other side is like that too. It's installed. It's literally all the way up to the seal. Again, just kind of nervous because I saw the YouTube video and it looks like something else was there kind of holding it in place. So I don't know if maybe just it stays in place the entire time, but I mean, the kit is on, it's installed, but yeah. All right, guys, so just a quick update on the catch can system. It actually does work pretty good. You know, I was really nervous about the seal on the PCV system, you know, where the brackets sit. However, after talking to the 63 guys, I did confirm that the PCV system has a suction vacuum on it. So, you know, the AN fittings where they kind of sit now, where the new Vantage system doesn't require the bracket system. So basically, you know, it pulls a vacuum and doesn't leak. So I've thoroughly tested this kit. I've done a bunch of pulls. I've actually raced a few guys already. And yeah, the system does work. Now, I have the drains right here, pretty accessible, you know, where basically this line, if you see this right here, after they say around like maybe, I think 3,000 miles, what you'll need to do is you'll need to take this syringe right here, plug it up to this hose. I'm not ready yet to drain it, clearly. I've only put like maybe 100 miles on this setup since I've had it. But you'll essentially put this syringe up to this tube and clear out the catch can system. I mean, it's relatively new. I'm probably not going to do this for my car for maybe another, I don't know, 400 or 500 miles. I do race my car, so you know, I think I'll be fine for a little bit. But yeah, the catch can system does work. You know, for as much money as it costs, I'm glad it does work. I was a little nervous at the beginning, but no, it works. It's fine. As you can see, guys, I've been working on my Aston Martin. I actually have something coming pretty big on my car. I'm gonna actually make my car the fastest Aston Martin in the world, Vantage at least. So I got some big stuff coming, big trans build, some other stuff coming, but ignore that for right now. But yeah, coming along pretty good.